Guderian. He came from an established military family, attended a cadet school with mediocre grades, and formally entered the army in 1907 at the age of 19. He attended the war school at Metz and was commissioned into the 10th Hanoverian Jäger Battalion in 1908. Guderian's exposure to technology began early, with his being selected for detached duty to a telegraph battalion, 1912 to 1913, but his education and career prospects leapfrogged when he was selected as the youngest officer of his cohort for General Staff training in Berlin. The outbreak of the First World War, however, interrupted these studies, and he had to serve as a provisional General Staff officer until early 1918, when he was sent to Sedan, France, on an abbreviated month-long General Staff course. Guderian passed his exams and was admitted to the elite officer corps of the German army, an achievement which only added to his already burgeoning self-confidence. As Guderian later recalled, "I felt capable of mastering any task which the future might hold in store for me." Guderian's appointments during the war reinforced his affinity with technology. He served as a signals officer, first with the 5th Cavalry Division, and then with the 4th Army. From the outset, Guderian witnessed the futility of men against fire, with his division being badly mauled at the First Battle of the Marne, September 1914. Later, at the First Battle of Ypres, October-November 1914, Guderian began to lament the army's loss of mobility, an experience dramatically reinforced in the attritional struggle he later observed at Verdun, 1916. Guderian also served as an intelligence officer and was among the first to recognize and embrace the use of aeroplanes to gather information and survey enemy positions. The appearance of British and later French tanks was, however, another matter. Guderian does not appear to have shown any special interest in these new weapons, which reflected both their lack of early success and their general dismissal among the German High Command, who initially saw them as a mere novelty weapon. Of course, that changed for Guderian after the war, and while he was not the much-lauded father of armoured operations, he did play a key role in their development and use in Germany. The interwar debates in which Guderian engaged did not always reflect his foresight and prudence. He bitterly opposed a more general mechanization of the army to support armoured operations, believing his Panzer forces alone would suffice to win wars. He also dismissed the new artillery assault gun, Sturmgeschütz, which would prove so cost-effective and efficient in the coming conflict. Beyond any strategic decisions, Guderian's rash personality and fiery temper did much less to advance the cause of the emerging Panzertruppe than his immediate superior, Lieutenant General Oswald Lutz. Although Guderian's post-war memoir claimed the limelight, it was in fact Lutz's more measured and calculating approach that succeeded in establishing Germany's panzer forces as a strong and coherent branch of the Wehrmacht by the late 1930s. Erich Hoepner was the son of a Prussian medical officer who attended the Kaiserin Augusta School before admission to the Schleswig-Holstein Dragoons Regiment in 1905. From 1911 to 1913, he was a regimental adjutant and qualified for General Staff training in the same cohort as Guderian. Hoepner's training was also incomplete at the outbreak of war in 1914, but he secured an appointment as the first orderly officer to the 1A, the first General Staff officer, of the 16th Army Corps. This exposed him to the complex workings of a high command, and Hoepner even performed secondary duties for the 1B supply officer, which sufficed for him to be admitted into the General Staff as early as 1915. Although Hoepner enjoyed a relatively safe staff position, he seized opportunities to move up into the front lines. In one of his surviving letters from the First World War, dating from February 1916, he wrote, "We crawled around in the underground positions and sapped for 5 hours. The French underground mines blew up twice while we were there. In the second blast, I was just in the front position and suddenly flew against the wall. It's a mean warfare, 25 meters under the earth." Clearly, Hoepner exemplified the hands-on style of command that was a hallmark of the German military tradition. In the autumn of 1916, Hoepner was transferred to a new post on the General Staff of the First.